Alright, whenever we looked at the body more in depth and we got into the atoms and stuff and what they're made of, and we saw that they're like little baby solar systems, and that's, what all of our cells are made up of and what essentially the body is made up of. And it is literal, quite literal, that we are housed in celestial bodies. And it really doesn't make sense to have something comprised of solar systems to need food or water or really any of those gases that exist within this environment would need to sustain a body that's comprised of planetary solar compromisation. So I don't really understand. So that's why I like to go towards the backup system of man, not really trying to figure out his environment. And I'm not sure if it went to drinking and then we went to eating. I don't know. Regardless, I do think that the sole driving force was want and desire, and we became addicted to those things. And a lot of times, what we'll do is, because I know when I personally fast and I'm on the and on the drinking, and I go to eat, it doesn't feel right to go back to eating, and the body doesn't like it, and it does not want it, and I have to kind of force it, and it's almost like if you got something that tastes really good, it kind of be easier to force it because it's not giving you that. It's giving you a little unpleasant feeling and a little dis-ease, but outside of that, it's not ending your experience here or causing really bad havoc to the body. So it's kind of like we just kept doing it, and that's. I mean, we still do that nowadays, and we have this idea that the body is kind of set up with an immune system, and it has like, let's just say 100% vitality or whatever, and that we have to build it up to that, and some of us are in 80 and some of us are in 90 in regards to the immune system, but that's not how the body works. The body adapts and it changes in each moment, and when things are a little too much or a little too quickly, then it will show in symptoms or manifestation in form that there is a perceived issue. And I thought of the analogy the other day of kind of how that is, and it's kind of like stopping a vehicle. Like if you just let off the gas and you go from like 25 to 15, you're making a 10 mile per hour decrease, but you don't really feel that. You feel it, but it's not that big jerk. But if you go from 5 miles per hour to a dead stop, you're only going down 5 miles per hour, but you're going to feel that because of the suddenness. And it's almost like that. If the warning sign is stronger, then we'll take more caution. But when it's not, we'll kind of follow the trail of want and desire. And I mean, that could be. We can go back to the story of Adam in the garden, with the apple. Don't eat, but he wanted to eat, so he started eating, and kind of here we are. But if we think back and go, before where we're at now in the degenerative state to actually have to put things in the body to keep it going, and think of our existence as just needing to breathe and the possibilities of that and the awareness. I know personally, whenever I just drink, the awareness is off the charts, and you don't just feel that connectivity, that connectivity with everything, and you're just yeah. And that's why, because the thing is we are going down as a species, and we are on our last legs, which is why we have to sleep as a body. And it's easier to control others through society. I mean, that's why society is formed, is to put men over men and control others. And if you want, depending on what your own personal wants and desires are, have them do things for you, and make your experience here a little easier, quote unquote, for your own little driving force. And if we think about that, though, and think about the possibilities of that, that's why this is conspiracy time the whole ancient aliens thing, where man couldn't have did this and man couldn't have done that. And I say bullshit to that, because they say we don't have that technology today, because it all goes back to that lie. We are not at the top of our game. We are slowly going down, and have been going down, chasing after externalized wants and desires. And the ancient aliens always say, oh, we're not there, we don't have technology like that. I guarantee you we had technology that was harmless to the environment, that far surpassed and superseded anything we could even fathom in our current state of form. And when you look at the old diagrams and the pictures, they say, oh, that's aliens, look at what it looks like, look at its head, and it's saying that it came from the stars, and maybe it's just describing the body. And especially when you look at a lot of the Egyptian art, it'll show, man with the stars, and then the ancient alien guys like the Sukulos, the hair dude, and Childress and all those guys, they'll say, well, they're saying it came from the stars, and look at this guy, it doesn't look like a human. No one knows what the human being originally looked like. I mean, maybe some others do and they just withhold the information. I don't know. But no one really knows what it looks like. And if we would continue drinking, you're going to lose your muscle. You're going to get skinny, but you're not going to die, and that's going to be frowned upon by society. You're going to be ostracized, cast out. So it's almost like we can't even go about that test in fear of what others think. But I would love to see what happens to the body and love to see what it looks like. But getting back to the Egyptian art and stuff like that, it shows the different bodies, and it shows the man, the man's body, and then it shows the beast body, and then it shows the fowl body, and then it shows the fish body, and it shows us that there's different bodies. And then you'll have the one, and it looks like man's body is comprised of the solar system and came from the stars. This could be with the whole. I like the as above so below quote. Like a lot of it jumps to a lot of conspiracy, and a lot of evil connotations with it. But I look at it personally, because evil's whatever I make it, and good's whatever I make it. And the way that I look at it is that not only is man's body literal, as above so below, looking above, seeing the stars, and look at the Da Vinci with man being the star. And the way that our cells are comprised, just like the planetary bodies, no different, just like our solar system, just like the galaxies and all that. But not only that, as above so below, but also just the fact, when we go back to the first video, everything that we got going on in the spirit and the ethereal and in the mind and with the thoughts, is going on in form here and manifesting. And we can see this to understand where we're at mentally and just what's going on all levels. I mean, it's nothing's changed. It's that consistent cycle of just trying to work through and figure out whatever this is until the figment of time doesn't need to be anymore, because it really never was. It's just that one moment slowed down and opened up for experience and then coming back in. And so we get back to the early man. Probably going to jump around a lot on this one. And, who knows what we were doing? Doing crazy stuff. I don't even know. Flying around. I got ideas. You'll see them. But whatever. We had that temptation. We had that desire. I don't know. And then we started. Maybe we didn't drink first. Maybe we went straight to eating. And then maybe we tried to go back to drinking to compensate, because we realized, hey, eating was a mistake. We got to go back and try that. And then we just kept pushing forward, consuming. And, here we are in our state that we're in. And it's like no one really wants to do anything, and we're all kind of stuck in this stagnated rut and just letting society, tell us what to do, or others telling us what to do. And everything that's introduced just takes us away from ourself and thinking ourself and bettering ourself in any way that we want to. I'm not saying every other, should think as I. The difference in, is the beauty and the spice of this experience. And just to think, what you want and not be told and not have parameters set, and to do this or out of fear, to just be free, to express your energy and your thoughts and your feelings any way that you want to, because there's no reason in thinking and worrying of what others expect or what others ask or what others want and how they feel. Because anyone that's ever meditated, just taking a moment to themselves, you know it's just you. It's just you. It's not loneliness, it's aloneness. Because it is just you, and it's just you, and it's just you, and it's just me. And it's that everyone's got their own experience, and it is just that own and that one. And that scares a lot of others. And then that's that, that imaginary void that we feel. I mean, we see in other bodies and all that, oh, look at that, it's not alone, there's this and there's that. But when you close your eyes and you just relax, breathe in through the nose, hold it, and then out through the mouth, and it's content, you need nothing, and it is just you, but you feel amazing, and you don't need anything, and it's okay to not need anything, and it's okay to not want anything. Unfortunately, where we are at right now as a species, we seemingly do need things, and we need food, and we need water to sustain us, because we are in that detrimental state to where we need that kind of stuff to keep going on our last legs, because we created this environment that's so toxic and so acidic, but the body is so tough that it withstands it. And the body will do what it needs to make sure that regardless of where it's at in terms of environment or what we're putting into it, that it will sustain for the longest possible duration. That's how the human body is designed, and that is what it does. Now, society is formed in the first place to control others and to set some sort of grounds, regardless if it was a consensus amongst a bunch of people. It doesn't matter. There's no need for it. I'm sure there was one guy that was just like, this is fucking bullshit, I'm not doing this. It's like, unless you're all on board, no one's on board. Y'all gotta be on board. There's no need for that. There's a need for it now because we're all insane. We think we're at the top of our game, running around, very inconsiderate, that there's all these imaginary others informed that they believe are real or you believe are real, and all these beliefs and this dogmatic stuff, and this is right and that's wrong, and don't do this and do that, and make sure you do this and watch out for that, and what if that, and worry about that. And there's no need for any of that stuff. There's no need for that. We are at, if we want to get, it's up to you. I mean, do you want the body to get back? It wouldn't be an easy process. It might be a lengthy process. It could be an instant process. Mind over matter. Could be that easy. I don't know. I find it personally very easy to stop eating and go fasting, and then straight dry fasting. And I don't even think about it. I just do it. We spend a lot of time planning and thinking and worrying about things. We're so, especially America. I'm not insinuating it's like this in every country, but the Western society, that absolutely. And we spend all this time trying to plan and work and think of things, and you start to get flustered, and it just seems like a lot of time. And just do it. Just start doing it. Change your focus. This is what you want to do. Start doing it. Now, I'm going to do it. We talk a lot. We have an idea, and then we talk about it, and you got to do it. That's the thing. We are at this area where most of us are just talking, just babbling about others' experiences or this or that. Stuff that doesn't even matter. Keeping the focus off of ourselves. And why are we running from that? And why are we afraid of that? Work on yourself. It might be highly individualized, different for everybody, but take some time to yourself. There's no arrogance in that. There's no narcissism, no conceitedness. You can completely take care of yourself and love yourself and be content with your experience here. And there is more than enough room for every single body and living thing that you come across here. And everything is worth that time, and everything is worth that patience. And it's up to us on what we want to do or where we want to go. If we go with the eating, it would seem that eating fruit is ideal for the body because symptoms go away just as with drinking, and the body starts to perk up. Now, there are some bodies, that are pretty screwed up through whatever past genetics, what you're putting into them, medications, drugs, surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, all that shit, has put some of the bodies in a state to where I really don't know, what would be the best result if others, think that way. And the reason I keep bringing up the fact that we are going down in our detrimental state is others should just be aware of this, because we are lied to and told that we are at the top. And it's almost that gives the impression and the implication that society is working and we are getting better and better through technology and drugs and all that shit. And we're not. And others just need to realize that and understand. And you can make the choice for themselves. No, there's no right or wrong here. It doesn't matter. I don't know what the universe plans for our species and everything and all that. And so it doesn't matter. It's just everyone should have that information, though. The honesty, the transparency. I scream for honesty and transparency within the experience here. And I walk the talk. And that's where it just needs to be. We can all make our choice. We can be, just be accepting and open. It doesn't matter. Just understand that that's where we're at. And it would seem, as I was saying, that eating fruit, if you want to eat and get the body, if you have any symptoms, regardless of what they are, obviously talk to your doctor and look into some herbs, look into some fruit, and see what that'll do for you. Now, understand, when you go that route, because the body is so fucked up currently, that when you go that route and you start to fix things and heal things and change things, and the body adapt and just to unravel and go back to where it was, to its state of not really needing anything. But if you gotta put something in it, put something in it that it likes. Currently. And whenever we go through that, you're gonna have symptoms. Any problem you've ever had is going to come back. It's going to show its face. And that's where a lot of others get freaked out. And they stop because they're scared. And you got to push through. You got to have that faith. You're going to come out on top. You're going to come out literally on top. And don't let that get you. Just push on and power through it. And keep going. And you're going to be just fine. So I hold the understanding, is a very judgmental statement, but I hold on to the fact that anyone that says the human body should eat and is supposed to eat and needs to eat has not fasted. I'm not talking dry fasting. We are not at that level to be dry fasting for extended periods of time. I'm talking, more than a while. I don't want to, I'm not going to get, I don't like the numbers. I do like my own numerology though. But just understand that if you think that you need to eat, then either A, you've never fasted, or B, you fasted, you had some symptoms, and you blamed what you were putting in, but you didn't push through, and you got scared, and you stopped. And you just turned around and blamed. And what's interesting of others when they do that, when they blame herbs or fruit or even just water or not eating, and they say, that's why I'm feeling this way. Why didn't they blame what they were eating prior to that with the symptoms they were getting? I don't understand that. If they said that I put that into me and it did this, and then don't you understand that no, this stuff you were putting in you is what caused all this stuff, and we're going to get this to help you out. And it's got to come out. Everything you're putting in that the body's storing away, these little areas and stuff like that, all that toxic mucoid shit, it's got to come out. And so it's going to show you its problems, its weaknesses. You got to understand where the issue is before you fix it. Now, if we want to feel better, mentally and physically, and we truly want that, then just do it. Start on it right now. There's no reason to delay, no reason to procrastinate, put on the back burner. Just start doing it. You are worth it. You are worth the time, and you are worth the effort. whenever we take those steps in taking care of ourselves, if you got to eat, start putting the fruit in, start putting the herbs in. Now, if you're really, really in some, rough physical spot of this existence, then I really don't know, because I'm not saying that that's the answer for everybody's situation. It's so highly individualized on where we're at as a species, health-wise. And the one thing is that I know when you're taking care of yourself and you're trusting your body and you're listening to your body. Because I know I always listen to the body. And whenever I was younger, and I'd have these others, adults, and they would lie to me about stuff. I mean, you could tell. You could tell. There's so much to communication that others that just think the words is enough. I mean, maybe for those that lie, maybe liars can't tell other liars, and that's why they congregate. I don't know. But when you're honest and you let that be open, and you can tell and you see it. And whenever I had that stuff happening to me, and then I would ask questions, because it's like, I want to understand what's going on. I've always asked so many questions. And I'm always asking questions, because I keep the door open, And when I ask questions and stuff's kept or stuff's hidden, it's just like, I'm not going to listen to others, because they have their own mind made up of these things that they want or whatever, and they're not being honest with me. So I'm just going to listen to myself. And I made that decision a while ago. Just listen to the self. Listen to the body. Well, whenever I was really able to do that, and out on my own and stuff like that, and the body says, eat once a day. So I was eating once a day, and I didn't care about what I ate. I was more in the mind, as I described in other videos. I didn't care about the materialism and the form. And it's kind of ignorant on my part, I know. And whenever I started doing that, just eating whatever I wanted. Didn't matter, omnivores, extremely. But I only ate once a day. Never had a problem, didn't have an issue. Had others telling me that's not good, that's not healthy, you need to eat, you need protein, you need this, and that. And turns out that best way to go about it, if you want to eat like shit, is just eat once a day. Allows enough time for the fasting, the body to clean all that stuff out. I'm not, suggesting or insinuating that that's what you should do. We should do just eat like shit, eat once a day, no. But I got away with it, listening to the body. I was still able to do what I wanted, and, by listening to myself and what would be the best scenario for me in that moment. And I'm not going to lie to myself, and these little solar system cells inside me, they got a little consciousness going on. They're not going to steer me wrong, because when I stop breathing, they stop working. We're all in this together, literally everything, all of it. And I just follow that. Then there was a time I was sitting there at the computer, and I had this idea, this thought come to me. It's just like, you gotta change your diet and start eating differently. And it's like, oh no. And it's like, I had this conversation with the body, and I was just like, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna be here for whatever, and then I'm done, and who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not worried about that. It's like, yeah, the body's like, we know that you don't care, and all this matter, stuff like that. But look, like, we're working our ass off here, and we're giving you what you want, doing that, and we're housing you and keeping you, your little spirit in there safe or whatnot. And just do us this little favor. I was like, all right. So I was like, what should I eat? And I had the idea of eat fruit, and I was like, that's very interesting. I was like, I love fruit, love watermelon. And I was like, but I really don't eat it. I never really got into it. I thought that was very interesting. And so I started eating fruit. So I started researching it. And I found all these testimonials and all this evidence of others coming out of all these symptoms and diseases that others label, and just healing the body, and being optimal and prime, given our current state as best as we can, And it was like, listening to yourself, it knows what's up. Like as I described in the last video, there's an intelligence going on. I've had so many synchronicities happen and things do occur that there's no way it could happen unless there's some overseeing force or whatever, moving all the compartmentalization around, and trying to get everyone's little desires in and what's best for this and best for that, and what the big game plan is. I don't know. I like not knowing. I like the ride. I'm not gonna watch or read a bunch of reviews or watch a bunch of gameplay videos for something I want to experience, whether it be a video game or even like a movie. I want to go in fresh with that clean slate and see what happens. That's great. So I like it that way. But so I started eating the fruit and everything. It was good and it was fine. And then what's interesting is whenever you start to listen to yourself and you trust yourself, and I'm not saying expect this, and I don't want to put that out there to have us think and manifest this kind of stuff and pull that, but there does seem to be a little bit of a pushback, and it's almost like you're testing yourself to see if you are ready. And if you're ready, you're ready. I would never suggest pushing yourself. I mean, if you got that drive and you're like me, I'm balls to the wall. If I want to do something, I do it. It blows my mind that others don't, and it really bothers me because I know that they are part of me, and that's a part of my mind, and that's a part of me, and what is me that's scared or fearful or doesn't want to do this or wants to do that, or it's just behaves very just inconsiderate towards others. That's like, I don't understand why that's going on, but I want to fix it. I'm not going to go out and externalize it. I'm going to take care and fix it up in here and try to figure it out with all this stuff. And as we start to do that, you will see it working itself out in front of you and seeing all the cards laid out and all the stones laid out and all the stuff in place. And you can just get this perfect cohesion of mind and body going on. And it creates the most magical experience here. I guarantee you, the most magical experience here. And it's there for anybody that wants it. That door and that window is always open. And it's always there, and it's not going to be, hey, here I am. It's subtle, it's quiet, it's not going to shock you, it's not going to scare you. It's just there when you want it. And it's always up to us on what we want in this experience and that. And just thought I'd share my little thoughts on that.